Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Behind the Bower. I'm Ryan Steffen, the Executive Director of Bower Center for the Arts here in beautiful Bedford, Virginia. This podcast is all about exploring the arts in our community and shining a spotlight on the incredible individuals, artists, and organizations that make the Central Virginia art scene so vibrant. Today, we're talking with someone whose passion for art has taken her on a remarkable journey. Susan Bradbury is an award-winning fine artist, mostly working with oils and acrylics, but has been known to dabble a little bit in pottery and mosaics as well. She's someone who believes in the power of lifelong learning and finding inspiration in the world around us. And she's one of our 11 studio artists here at Bower Center for the Arts. Pretty much every day, visitors can find her at her easel in her studio, bringing memories, meaningful moments, and animals to life on her canvases. And now she's going to help others discover their own creativity as one of our newest painting instructors. Susan, welcome to Behind the Bower.
Thank you.
Thank you. So let's start with you just telling me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I'll start with my childhood.
Start at the beginning. A very good place to start.
Yeah, my mom was an artist, and I would sit there and watch her and try to copy her. And she knew early on that I was an artist because I would make things differently than the other kids. The other kids could see 2D and I saw 3D. So she knew from the beginning that I was going to be able to do
artistic.
Yeah. And I was left-handed. I was still left-handed, but long line of left-handed people. So that gave me another edge because usually left-handers think on a different side of the brain.
Sure.
Yeah, they use it differently.
Yeah. So did you grow up around here?
Oh, Roanoke. Yeah, we moved to Roanoke from North Carolina. Mom's roots were North Carolina, so we moved here from North Carolina. And since I was about 3 years old, we lived in Roanoke. And then just 3 years ago, we moved to Bedford.
And I love to hear people's stories. What brought you from Roanoke to Bedford?
Grandkids mostly. Timothy and Jenny and all 9 of the kids. 9. Yeah, 9. Yeah, they have 3 fosters and 6 of their own. So, yes, the grandkids, we wanted to be close. And it's nice here, too.
It's nice. It's quiet.
Yeah, and I just like the people and the atmosphere.
I'm pretty new to town. We moved here about 6 years ago, and it's the same thing.
Yeah, when I walked into the Bower Center, usually I can get a feeling of whether it's good or whether it's got kind of a, and I walked in, and every time I walk in, I just, it's one of those, I can breathe.
So what brought you into the Bower Center the first time?
What brought me in? I think it was a show. Okay. Yeah, it was one of the juror shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
So had you entered it or were you just checking out?
No, I had entered it and I won it was like best in show. And
imagine that.
Yeah.
Threw one in, one best in show.
Oh, yeah. Whoops. Throwing name, what is it called when you just
drop your accolades. That's okay.
Name dropping. Yeah, there you go.
So how did you, I'm jumping all over the place here, but so how did you end up with a studio at the Bower Center?
I don't know. I went up there to look around. I saw Suzanne and Perry up there one time, and I was like, this would be a nice place. I had a studio in Roanoke. It was nice, but we didn't get elevators. We didn't get, good heat. We had to beg for our heat and our air conditioning. So it was so nice going someplace that had heat and air conditioning and elevators and nice people to work with and, faces you could see every day.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I will say, you definitely treat your studio like it's your job.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you have regular hours. You were scheduled in that studio. Mm-hmm. You're going to go in, you're going to produce.
Yeah. Well, it's because I love it.
Yeah.
I enjoy being there. It's just, I love being there.
It's a great retreat. It's a great escape. You've got beautiful light up there.
It is.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So tell us a little bit about, you didn't start in art, but, you dabbled in it as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm sure at some point you're like, this is not logical. I can't make a living doing this.
Yeah.
So you grew up to be something different. What was that path?
Well, Mom and Daddy, Daddy always wanted us to go in the medical field, but I knew that wasn't. I just don't have that kind of brain. But I tried to go into art therapy, but they highly discouraged me from doing that and from several other things I wanted to do. So I thought, okay, I was going to a liberal arts school and I decided I can't really get a degree going here, so I went to Radford and got a degree in graphic design and double majored, graphic design and French. And you'll ask why French? Well, it's because I love languages and I'm good at languages, so that's why I didn't feel like I should just give it up.
No.
But yeah, if you're good at something,
You just need to go to
doing it.
France more. That's the truth, right?
Yeah, go to France.
Yeah. So in graphic design, what did you do? Tell me a little bit about that part of your life.
I started off after I graduated. I went directly to the Roanoke Times and worked for them for about a year. And then after about a year, I found another job at System 4 Advertising, and I was there for, I think I was in it maybe a total of 3 years after we got married. This was with Larry. I don't know if you've heard of Larry Bly, but with the System 4 Advertising. It was great. I loved it. But then we had kids and daycare. I don't know, it was more expensive. I guess you'll say I had to use my whole paycheck on daycare. So I went home and did medical. I know this sounds lame, medical transcription for 20 years.
You do what you got to do to pay the bills.
Do, and I'm good with words. I can spell. I can spell really well. Yeah.
I think it takes a little bit more than spelling skills to do medical transcriptions. But yeah.
So I did that for 20 years. And once Rebecca got to be 18, the others graduated and went to college. Rebecca got to be 17 or 18. And I was like, this is dumb. I should use my art. I should do it more.
So in all that time, were you still dabbling in art at all?
I was.
What were you doing?
I was doing pastels.
Okay.
Mostly pastels, yeah. But
just for you?
Just for me. Just of the kids. It was just, they were my muses. So
okay.
Yeah.
Did you dabble into entering anything or selling anything at that point?
Once or twice. I put some stuff in a show, but really, no. I really just got my career going about maybe 12 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
You made some remarkable strides in 12 years then.
Yeah. So you can do it.
Yeah.
Even when you're old like me.
You can find it again. Absolutely.
You can.
You mentioned Becca, and I love to just think about the lineage that art has had in your family. You talk about your mom, you talk about yourself, you talk about Becca, who's also a great, I've seen some of her work as well, also a great artist. Yeah. How would you say was your work ever affected by your mom, and is Becca's work ever affected by yours?
Mom she was the best watercolor artist you probably ever knew around Roanoke. She was so good. And we have these pictures of Rebecca, with Mom's fancy paintbrushes painting alongside Mom. She was just like 4 years old. So she had it forever.
Did she have that gift?
She's got the gift of watercolor. Yeah.
Okay.
And she's got the watercolor takes patience. And I do not have patience. So Becca and Mom, they, very patient people, and they're okay with letting it dry and do all the things that you have to do with watercolor. But,
yeah.
But I'm not.
Watercolor's in layers.
I'm that, instant gratification. I'm the microwave mentality. Got to do it now. Got to do it now. Got to finish it today.
That's why you went acrylics.
That's right.
But you do dabble in oils as well.
I do, yeah.
Which is a patient medium, I would say, as well.
Yeah, so I've had to learn a lot the past few years. I've had to work on patience, and it's good.
So we'll come back to painting because that's your bread and butter. Right. But what else do you like to play with artistically?
Artistically, I love sculpture. I love pottery. Pottery is just not to be, I don't know, it's centering. So I would encourage anybody who needs to be centered. Pottery is the way to go. And Bauer Center has a great little pottery studio. So, Kim is just amazing. She's really gotten me back on track with the sculpture and, dabbling with different things.
It's ironic you mentioned
mosaics. Dottie Stone is amazing with mosaics. So.
It's interesting you mentioned centering because that is the one fault I have when trying to throw anything on the pottery wheel is I can't get it centered to begin with.
Right. It takes a long time.
Yeah. And we all know if it's not centered, it's just going to be lopsided.
It is. Yeah.
Which is why I have 15 lopsided bowls in my house and I love every one of them.
It's okay.
So outside of working with paint, what's your favorite medium to play with?
Outside of paint, my favorite medium, Oh, probably would be more like clay.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoy clay. In college, I was very proficient with sculpture, so I'd like to get back into that. I think that's something that just, I don't know, working with your hands, like gardening and cooking and things like that. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you
it's
said you took your break for a while.
right.
What is it ultimately that brought you back?
What brought me back? I don't know, just I couldn't do medical transcription anymore. It had gotten too really, really technical and really that they were getting super, super strict. And I'm not much of a computer person when it comes to that. And I think that just blew me away. And plus my fingers were getting tired.
Mm.
Plus, I don't know. I think I had the need to create. That was what it was. And I started back with teaching. And I actually wrote a book on acrylics, which it didn't sell a whole lot of copies, but that got me back into painting because they were looking for somebody who did portraits in acrylics. So I wrote the book, and it helped me learn immensely. And I think that kind of triggered that little thing. I can do this.
I can do this.
I can do it. Yeah.
So who asked you to write the book? Or did you just...
What is the name of the company? It's a it's a big company. And they do a lot of art books. I can't remember the name of it. It's been a while. I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. At some point.
I don't own that book, but I feel like I should own that book.
I'll have to give you a book.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I don't talk about it a lot because I'm one of these people. Sometimes you don't feel like you're a legitimate artist, and they're like, why are they asking me to do this?
So let's talk a little bit about your art.
Okay.
I would say, this is a dumb thing to say. I can recognize a Susan Bradbury from across the room.
Really?
And I'm not sure what it is about a Susan Bradbury that I can recognize, but how would you describe it?
It's the color. Yeah. It's about putting colors together that make it sing and they call it, one of my teachers, she called it, you put the colors together to make it vibrate. I don't know if that's what you see when you see it. It's like those colors, they're vibrating. I mean, that contrast between the light and the dark, moving from the light to the dark, and the colors that you put together to make it vibrate.
Right.
And I think that's what it is.
There's also, I don't know the best way to explain it, like almost an impressionistic softness.
Yeah.
So it's not hyper realistic. It's not hyper detailed. I mean, when you look at it, it's still very detailed, but there's, and to me, a little bit comes from, it's like the motion of the brush stroke that does.
Right. The way I want to do it is I want to create the brush strokes, like one stroke, and you can tell what it's supposed to be. Not super realistic, but I want somebody to be able to see it from 10 feet and say, hey, that's a horse jumping. And you get up closer and, you kind of get lost in the brush strokes a little bit, but looking at it from a distance.
Yeah, I'll fully admit, I have a Susan Bradbury hanging in my house.
Oh, yeah.
And it's of water. And and that's, water is a calming element to me in general. It's what drew me to that piece to begin with. And I love that it was a sailboat. That wasn't necessarily the part that drew me. It was the motion of the water.
Right. And the colors.
So when I go back and look at it, and it hangs in my dining room.
Yeah.
That's what I look at as I look at the motion of the
strokes
lines
and the motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've dabbled into this, but I'll let you actually nail it on the head. How would you describe your art to somebody who's never seen it before?
That's a really good question. Let me think about that. It would be color, light, dark. I don't know. It's an art term, value, lightness and darkness, but I like big contrasts. Mm-hmm. I love big contrasts with the light and the dark, and moving into the dark and into the shadows and looking at the colors in the shadows. And so many colors in the shadows, even though it's really dark, there's so many colors, but more strokes next to each other. Mm-hmm. And creating the movement from the colors that are placed next to each other.
It's interesting you mentioned that about shadows. That's one of my favorite things to look at in paintings.
It is.
Is to see how an artist creates their shadows.
Right.
Because I had an art teacher that tell me, like, you see lots of colors in one color.
Uh-huh.
So he's like, if somebody else were to see red, you would find the purple and the yellow and the orange and every
Mhm.
color to create that red.
Right.
And so like that's what I love about shadows is to me that's where the biggest depth of color comes from.
Right.
That, you know, a lot of people think shadows are black
Right.
or brown.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I
And
love
it's
to see
not.
the colors that create those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it reminds me, and I don't remember the name of this piece, the shadows I remember looking at was the one of the horse jumping.
Mhm.
You know, some great shadow colors.
Right. Yeah, they weren't. It's more of like one of my teachers, Jennifer Gennari. She's just amazing animal person. I mean, she does the most beautiful animals you'll ever see. But she taught us, you know, you use your black and use a deep red. And that's your deepest, darkest shadow. And it's just so exciting because it's just like you get lost in the depth of it. It's not a black, because black is really just another word. It's blue.
Mm-hmm.
It's people use, when you use black, it's more of a blue tone.
Okay.
Yeah.
See all this color theory that I need to learn.
Yeah,
I should probably take your class.
You should.
We'll come to that
take
part
my
here
class.
soon.
You should.
I want to talk a little bit about your subject matter. So, you know, if you walk into your studio, what I'm going to notice is people and animals. You know, and I know you were a portraiture artist. You wrote a book about portraiture, but I see lots of dogs and horses and sheep.
Mm-hmm.
How come?
Because they're memories. And I paint memories. And I paint things that I'm working on changing my attitude about painting, because there for a while it was about what makes me happy, but I want to bless other people and make them happy. And if I can do that, if I can make somebody happy, that's the way to do it, is to make people happy.
Yeah.
Create happiness and joy.
Right.
That's the way to go.
And you know, if that's as somebody, I would say I dabble in art collecting. I can't collect anything valuable, but I can collect things that bring me joy.
Right.
And it feels like that's what you're saying. Is
that it brings me joy, like your water painting. I mean, we had a place on the Chesapeake, and that was, oh my gosh, you can't even imagine how much joy, sitting out on the pier, crabbing. And Daddy had a sailboat. He would take us out, and he almost flipped me over one time. I was just little. That we won't talk about that. But yeah, things that bring you joy. Yeah.
And so you do sell a lot of works, which congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a tough one. It's a tough hustle.
Yeah, it is. Marketing is really tough.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's tough.
Has there ever been a piece that you can't bring yourself to sell?
Yeah. I've got a dog piece that I think about selling it, and I'm like, no, it makes me so happy. And I know I shouldn't be thinking about me, but I love it. And I smile every time I look at it, because it's just one of those pieces that makes me smile. It makes me happy. And my grandkids. I can't sell my grandkids.
Right.
You can't do that.
And there's a pretty significant picture of your sister, of you and your sister together.
Yeah, yeah.
And it may have a price tag on it, but I feel like that's a tough one to let go.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't let it. She would be looking down for me from heaven and saying, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Yeah. And I know that piece was pretty emotional for you to work.
Yeah.
Very different, honestly, than a lot of pieces.
Yeah, it is.
Because we just talked about darkness and value, and it's one of the more lighter, almost washed out pieces.
It is. Well, it was supposed to look like I did it from a photograph of us when we were little. And you know how photographs at that time, they're washed out looking.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to be kind of washed out looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I encourage all of you to stop by Susan's studio and see it. I mean, there's parts about the studio that I love a lot. One of it is you've got beautiful completed works, but you kind of have half-finished pieces scattered all over the place.
Yeah.
And there's something really cool for somebody who's not at that level of artistry to come in and see something that's not perfect, it's not finished, that is in process, you know, your easel has paint all over it. Yeah. And I kind of love it. I've actually gone in and taken a picture of just the easel itself because it tells its own story. You know, so you are a studio artist as well. I know that you also just got back from a really cool journey and experience. I would love to talk to you a little bit about that.
If any place, somebody was asking me the other day, I've been to Provence and I've been to Yorkshire. Which place would you, if you could live somewhere, which would you rather live? And it would be Yorkshire. It's like I felt home. If you've ever been someplace and you feel home, it's Yorkshire. And it was a workshop with TJ Cunningham, and he's an amazing artist. If you ever go on Instagram and look for TJ Cunningham, because his work is just his sheep and his landscapes. It's like they bring you joy.
Mm-hmm.
You'll look at them and you'll be like, oh, just amazing. Yeah. And I met so many wonderful people, and workshops in Yorkshire is the place to go if you ever want to go to England and take a class.
Tell me about painting in that space.
It was wonderful. Well, we were outside the whole time, and that was hard. Plein air does not come easy for me because you have to see the color outside, not from this little rectangle on your iPad or computer. It's very difficult. And so I learned a lot, and I think it increased my knowledge and wisdom in painting, and just it's really, I think it's shown up in the past few weeks. I didn't create any wonderful things while I was there, but my mom always told me, Susan, don't go to a workshop and expect to get wonderful or to do wonderful things when you're at the workshop. You come home and you just kind of chew on it for a while and you think about it, and then you start. Art is 90% thought and 10% actually doing it. Mm-hmm. So don't ever take a class and think, oh, this is awful, I'm not making anything wonderful. Don't do that, because it's more, you learn it and then you take it with you and you think about it, mm-hmm. and you just chew on it, and then you start creating.
Right. And I know, and plein air is not the normal way that you tend to paint.
No.
If I visit you in your studio, you're often very close. You work off of photographs, and you're very closely studying the photographs.
Right.
And plein air, not only do you not have a photograph to closely examine, but if you're talking about natural elements,
it's
the
so
light
hard.
10 minutes later is not the same light.
It's not. I know. And he would tell us, okay, you pick a time and you stick with that time, and you don't, okay, there's that sun running across the mountain. Nope, you don't do that. You stick with that time you first chose, and it's better, on a cloudy day because you don't have the sun running across the mountains. But you stick with that color and you try to figure out those colors that are in the landscape at that time.
You mentioned your mom again, and I'm finding some irony in this.
Yeah.
For a mom that didn't want you to be an artist,
yeah,
she sure led you down that path several times.
She did. Yeah, she was proud of me for doing it, and so was Daddy. But they didn't want me to get a job in art. They didn't think I could support myself.
That was such a responsible
But now,
decision.
I know it was. But if they saw me now, they would say, "Why didn't we do that sooner?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to be a theater major, and I was logical, so I went to school to be a teacher.
Oh.
And it never really left me.
Yeah.
And
you can still do it.
I could.
Yeah.
But I didn't love the performing, and I ended up
directing. You didn't?
No, I loved the directing and the design end of it.
Yeah.
And so, I ran a theater program for 20 years.
Was it high school, college?
High school, and I dabbled a little bit into regional and professional theater.
Oh, wow.
Just a couple opportunities that kind of came my way that I took advantage of.
Yeah.
And I loved it. So it never left.
So you should
I found the avenue.
Into it some more. You want to think about it.
You're going to find some free time here at the Bauer Center to do that.
I know, but when you do, you ought to do it, because doing what you love, it brings you so much joy.
Yeah. Well, in mentioning teaching and mentioning the things that your mother has taught you, you're now ready to share it with us.
I am.
So is this the first class you're teaching at the Bauer Center?
Yes, first class at the Bauer Center.
Okay, and you've taught other classes before?
I've taught other classes, like at the Brambleton Center in Roanoke, and homeschool classes in Roanoke, and a couple of folks that just wanted a few classes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've done it. Oh, and the studio school in Roanoke. I did some oil painting in Roanoke, but yeah, I've done it.
So it's your first one with us. Not your last one. We got you on the schedule next session too.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about this class. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna see?
Okay, this one is geared. I mean, it can be beginner, but I don't want people to be too frustrated. So more intermediate, and we're going to be starting off simple, just showing you how I would start off a painting and how it's just going to be a simple object to start with. The next class we'll move to something a little more in depth, but we're going to start off learning about this simple object and how I start with the darks and move from the darks to the middle tones to the light tones. And then after we establish our shape, we'll go in with the color and work on color and putting those colors next to each other that make it just such a beautiful form. It just make it exciting. And I mean, even a pear can be exciting,
Of course.
an orange or a pear. If you look at the colors and you're excited about color, which I'm very excited about color, the colors that I place next to each other to make it turn from, and it's not realistic. I don't do realistic. I mean, when I was in graphic design, that's all we did was as realistic as you could get. And that's just something I've outgrown. I want to create a form using more of an impressionist. The colors placed next to each other are very important. And I think people that take the class, they're going to be mind blown. It's going to blow their mind. Yeah.
So it's a 4-week session, right?
4-week.
All right. Oil, acrylic?
Oil. It'll be oil. Yeah. So don't be daunted about oil. People are like, oil. It takes so long to dry. No, it doesn't really take that long to dry. You've got to do it. You do it in layers. The last layer is going to be the longest one to dry. The other layers, it should take like a day, maybe at the most to dry. I mean, not even that long.
I remember working in oils once in high school, which is hard because you're working in it daily. And I was a fast worker.
Yeah.
So everything I tried to do just turned into mud. Which is ironic because I loved watercolor because I could be patient enough for watercolor.
Right.
Because watercolor makes you work fast.
Right.
But then you have to stop.
Right. You got to stop, let it dry.
And then do the next fast one.
Right.
Acrylics were not good for me.
Acrylics are hard. They're like a mix of oil and watercolor. And it's all about the layering. It's about putting down a layer and another layer of color to go over that to make the first layer just more exciting or to change the color. But
and I know we haven't released this schedule yet, but it will be soon. Can you give us a little preview about what you're bringing in the next session?
The next one is going to be, we're going to be doing the same thing that we did in the first, only we're going to be using animals or whatever it is you want to put in your landscape. You're going to, animals are my thing. So if you want to do a person or whatever, but it's going to be just a little more. We're going to be moving off into you doing, your own piece. Yeah. Something.
So we've got a few spaces left open for this class.
Yeah.
If anybody is interested, it starts when?
This next class?
Yes.
It starts the first week in August on Wednesdays. So, check it out. And if you want to do
sign up by the end of the week, we can fit you in.
We can fit you in. We still got places and we'd love to have you.
So a couple quick questions as we kind of wrap up our time here. If you had to give somebody advice who never picked up a paintbrush but wanted to try to paint, what would you say?
I would say if you want to do it, do it. If you're scared to do it, really, come to it's not that scary. It's not as scary as it seems to be, but do it because it's not, this is for you. This is not, do it for the joy of painting. Do it for the joy of painting and not for other people. If you do it for other people that look at it, you've got to do it for you because you want to do it.
And I love to end it with the philosophical. Why do you think art is important?
I think people need beautiful things to put in their homes and to bring memories. And because for me, I look at my paintings that I have that I love so much, and they just bring me joy and bring me memories, like my portraits, family portraits, and they just bring me, that certain space and time.
Yeah,
that place brings it back. It's like reading a good book, and it just kind of triggers that. It puts
us in just a mental state to be ready to.
It
to accept
does.
the open. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Susan. Thank you so much for taking time to join us
thank you
today.
for inviting me.
Absolutely.
This was a joy.
Great. I know our listeners will also enjoy getting to know you a little bit better, and I hope they'll stop by the Bauer Center to see your studio, to see you work in person, sign up for your painting classes.
Yeah.
It would be great to see them all in there.
It would be.
And if you're wondering what else we have in store in our galleries, for just about another week, we have The Life and Art of Charles M. Schulz traveling exhibition. This creator of Charlie Brown and Snoopy was also the Capitol campaign manager for the National D-Day Memorial here in town from 1998 until his death in 2000. In celebration of our 20th birthday and the National D-Day Memorial's 25th birthday, we were able to work together to bring this amazing exhibit here until August 7th. We also have our end of the summer free family art day featuring Virginia Commission for the Arts touring artist, puppeteer, and performer Tyrone Travis on August 1st at noon. For all you music lovers, we're excited to feature Swan Song out of Charlottesville on September 12th. They will spin magic, infusing strings and classical piano into contemporary compositions. And finally, don't forget to save the date for this year's annual Art of Pairing. This year, in celebration of our 20th birthday and a nod to our namesake, Dr. Bauer, the theme will be Bauer at the Bayou. We may not be able to bring back his Crawfish Festival, but we've got a killer event lined up for you all this year. Plus, backed by popular demand, will be Music Road Co. Ticket sales start soon, and you won't want to miss it. For more details on all of our classes, events, concerts, and performances, you can visit bowercenter.org, follow us on social media, or just stop in and say hello. Thanks for listening, and we will see you all soon.